Hello, America. This is Tim the Talent. I'm here with Case Dog, and we are them dudes over there. We're going to talk to you today about that game last Sunday. The Bengals had such a tall task in defeating the New England Patriots. Yes, I use the, they're tough when you use the word the instead of the. But anyway, they went and battled Tom Brady in his first game back at home. You know what I mean? And what can I say? I don't think Case Dog was surprised by the result. Did you really think they was going to go up and win in Foxborough?
I mean, no, they did better than what I expected. I personally thought they might have went up there and for real stunk up the place like they ended up doing in Dallas. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. That's why I made that status saying, "Are we gonna see the Bengals or the Bungles today?" Like, I'm proud of the team. Like, they did show a fight at least this time, and it wasn't like a complete beatdown. Like, it was just a lapse towards the end of the game. But, they showed that they still somewhat have a drive and desire to at least try to make this season worth something.
Yeah, what I saw is that it seems like when they get a bad call from the refs, they kind of go into bungle mode. They kind of break down, start looking around. Body language looks a little different because after that phantom holding call, yes, boy, he didn't hold. But I think the way that he took the man down, from the ref's angle, it looked like a hold. They threw the flag, which took away a first down, moved the Bengals back close to their own goal line. Bill Belichick kind of seized the moment, sent a nice timely blitz. Really, Andy Dalton, if he saw it coming, he probably should have scrambled out of the pocket and just threw the ball away. I couldn't really see the whole field, just by watching the game, but it looked like he was trying to hang in there and complete a deep ball like he did earlier in the game, But after that safety, you could just kind of tell the air just kind of went out of the Bengals, which kind of disappoints me because I want to see that same fight that they had like with the Steelers. In the playoff game with the Steelers when things were looking bad, like, Vontaze Burfict and Pac-Man Jones and Jeremy Hill, those are the emotional leaders. Those are the guys that got fired up. When things went wrong or when they got a bad call and they said, no, we're not going to lose this game. They stepped up and started making plays. I didn't see that this Sunday. I didn't see any fire in the team until Gronkowski started talking trash at the end of the game, and you had blunt face raking Sean Williams underneath the helmet. And they were saying like, oh, that's a face mask. And they said, oh, no, he just eye gouged him. Well, let's pick up the flag, and that's the only time you're seeing any fight from him. So Case Dog, I guess what I want to ask you here is, would you rather the Bengals play like they did in the wild card Steelers game with a lot of fight, maybe borderline out of control, or would you rather them play like they've been playing this season, nice guys helping guys up and just taking a butt whooping every Sunday? What do you prefer?
I prefer them to be the bad boys of football. Like, to be honest, like, we always get labeled as that anyway. We was labeled, the Cincinnati jail cats or some dumb stuff like that when everybody was going to jail and stuff. So, we might as well accept that role, be like LeBron. He accepted being the bad guy. Why shouldn't we? We have players with a mean streak. Let them be them. If they get fined, they get fined. We'll deal with it later. You have to have a mean streak to be a football player. You can't be, oh, yeah, let me help you up. You fail. Let me help you. Oh, are your ACLs good? What about your MCLs? Okay, that's good. Go to the next play. Oh, my MCLs hurt now. Damn it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
That's just me.
Here's my take on it. I agree with you, Casey. There's a lady at my job. She was talking about, oh, they're little Bengals again, out of control. They do this, that, and the other. But she watched the same wild card game that we watched. But she didn't have much to say about those Steelers, even though the Steelers were cutting up, pulling hair, and, doing all types of things. She didn't have much to say about that. So, basically what I told her today is like, you know what? I'm not taking up for the Bengals. You know what? Hey, if they got to play rough and tough and people think they bad boys, they should play that way. You want to know why? Because if it ends in a W, no one's talking about it. Right. They're saying, oh my gosh, they're such a tough, hard-nosed team. Well, it's only when you lose somebody saying, you know what? Oh my gosh, those guys are so out of control. Marvin should be fired. Well, guess what? Marvin should be more like Tomlin. And I wouldn't say encourage, but maybe he should just look the other way. Maybe he should say, hey, I like the way you're playing out there. Keep playing with fire. I personally think Marvin is just snuffing out the fire. That flame is going and he's putting out the fire. All we see is smoke now. We don't see that fire in these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you take the fight out of the players, you get what you get Sunday. You just get guys who are emotionless. They're looking around, looking for answers. They're not going out hitting. Because, for me personally, I mean, I know when I played football, if there was a guy like Gronkowski, you know what I mean, talking trash, catching passes, me as a safety, I would have made sure I was extra close to him. So when he catch the ball, I would have tattooed him. As soon as his hands hit that ball, I'd have been hitting him. You know what I mean? As soon as the pass went in his direction, I'd have been taking my shot. I would have let him know exactly, what it is. Kind of how, if you look back to 2014, when the Bengals played the Saints, Jimmy Graham, first play, Jimmy Graham came right down the seam. Aloka lit him up. I mean, the ball went in the air. Aloka tattooed his butt. You know what I mean? And granted, he got flagged for it. It was a clean hit, by the way. But he got flagged for it. But Jimmy Graham, you didn't hear no more from him the rest of the day. Because he was looking around like, oh, man, who's going to hit me? And, I don't really recall anybody lighting Gronkowski up like that. Letting him know, like, hey, I'm waiting for you. You can catch the ball, but as soon as you catch it, I'm going to hit you. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if but Gronkowski would survive the Ronnie Lott era. Where, yeah, you can come down the seam, but there was people waiting to take your head off as soon as you caught it. And it took a special individual to go down that seam. And in today's NFL, anybody can go down the seam. Because if you get your head taken off, it's a penalty. Yeah. Good play for you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I tell you what, Case Dog, I've been looking at the schedule, man. Granted, the Patriots, you can't expect to win against the Patriots. But they got the Browns coming up, man. Is this a get-right game or what?
It better be. I mean, they have our old offensive coordinator, so it's kind of like, I mean, it's not like the Browns are terrible. Like, they've been losing games by, like, touchdowns. Like, they've been close games, so they're being very competitive. Like, I say next year, the Browns are probably going to be a team to reckon with, like, to be honest with you. But, this is a game that we definitely need to win. Like, honestly, we cannot afford to lose no more games this season. We need to win every game the rest of the season. And that's kind of a tall order in itself. But that's what they got to do. And then, like to even like remotely have a good season in general and then at least be able to make it into the playoffs. They just got to win every game now.
I don't expect them to win every game. I mean, I think
I get them one more loss, but
that would be nice. I mean, realistically, they're probably looking at 10-6, 9-7, just looking at their schedule. I mean, Buffalo Bills is not a pushover. The Browns, I mean, they got a running game. They don't have a defense, really, but I mean, their defense is good enough to keep them close. You got to think about the familiarity with the two offensive coordinators. I mean, so Washington's a threat. I mean, they know our offense.
Yeah.
They helped build our offense. Hugh Jackson helped build the offense that we run today. So they're pretty familiar with it. They practiced against our defensive coordinator, so they're familiar with what he does. That's a dangerous game. Both of those games are dangerous. I mean, and then one of them is like in London, like in Washington. The Bengals, whenever they get a schedule change, if they ain't playing at 1 o'clock, they off. Except for that Miami game, they woke up on the right side of the bed that a couple weeks ago. They was ready, So I think they're tired of hearing that primetime thing. I mean, nobody's paid attention, but the past couple of years, I mean, they've been on it on primetime. Except for the Texans, who always has our number. No, not to mention, we play the Texans again this year.
Yeah, play them after Philly, because Philly's after Washington.
I'll tell you what. Philly, that's going to be a tough game, too, because hopefully people have figured out Philly and Carson Wentz by now. I mean, it seems like teams are kind of catching up. You know what I mean? And hopefully the Bengals are taking note and they'll be able to capitalize on that. If not, I mean, the Bengals could easily be 7-9 with all the talent they have. I mean, the offense got to come around. They got to get Boyd more involved, which they tried to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They tried to get LaFell. LaFell looked like he can handle way more passes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So,
That's why I said last week, like, the Bengals are having an identity crisis. Like, they don't know if they want to be a running team or a passing team. Like, we have all the weapons to be either one, but we just need to decide which one to commit to.
I think they know. Like, I think this New England game, they went with what they did well. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to spread. We're going to have a bunch of different formations, different personnel. We're going to be 2 tight ends and pass out of that. We're going to spread you out wide, run with Gio. I mean, I think they want to spread you out and then run with Gio. They had their most success doing that. You know what I mean? New England was kind of off balance. Like, whatever they did in the first half, that's what they need to do all the time, offensively and defensively. Be creative. Don't hold back your stuff for New England. You know what I mean? Because if they would have came with that same game plan against Dallas, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Very true. I mean, we might not. We probably would have beat Dallas maybe by like a touchdown, but it wouldn't have been like, no, oh, we just came in and just demolished Dallas type thing. But
no,
we would have. I think we would have won if we'd actually tried playing and actually running good plays, and not just doing the bare minimum.
It'd have been a shootout,
right?
Like, I mean, I think Bengals wouldn't have stopped Dallas, in the first half, but Dallas wouldn't have stopped us in the first half either. I mean, it might have been like 35-28.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or heck, it might have been 42-35. You know what I mean? But it would have took one of the teams to stand up and make a play. Because at the end of the day, I mean, they featured Gio. I mean, I think Gio touched the ball almost on every play, the first two drives. And I was like, that's how you do it. You want to focus on A.J. Green? We'll run it to Gio. We'll throw it to him short. And Gio was getting first down after first down. I'm like...
Yeah, because really, we could use Gio the way we used to use Andrew Hawkins.
Yeah.
We didn't win away from that after his first year.
And you know what? And that's exactly what they was doing in New England game. They had Gio in the slot. This is what I don't get, though. You know what I mean? Maybe you can help me understand this, Casey. When you got Gio, even when you have Jeremy Hill in the backfield, you can still have Gio at like one of the wide receiver positions. You can have him like in the slot.
Right.
Maybe you can even have them in the same backfield. But I think they got to do new things on offense. Like if you only got one major threat, besides Gio, you got A.J. Green. If A.J. Green's the big guy, you got to basically convince the defense that you're willing to do some other stuff. And then boom, hit him with A.J. Green. Maybe move A.J. Green in the slot, move him around, kind of like they did with New England. They went to him first. Then they started going to Boyd, and they started working Gio. Now, ultimately, if you're the Browns and Hugh Jackson, they're going to be looking at Gio like they use an awful lot of Gio. We got to watch out for Gio. You know what I mean? So hopefully, not get my hopes up, but hopefully they get Tyler Eifert in there.
Yeah.
And hit him. Boom!
Hey, I honestly think, too, when we get Eifert back, I think that's going to be a game changer. I think everything's going to start back clicking again. They'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, now the Bengals are starting to look like who they was last year. And then
so I don't know if it would click, but...
It might not click instantly, but you'll see spurts of it, I think.
So I don't know if it'll click, but I know for a fact that it'll open up Gio for certain. I think it'll open up Gio on offense the same way it opened up Gronkowski. You know what I mean? So I know he'll most definitely be free. Like Gronkowski was opening up things for James. What was his name? The running back for New England. I can't remember his name, but it was like a little scat back. He was just like kind of swinging out in the flat, and our linebacker couldn't even cover him, only because he had to worry about Gronkowski. You know what I'm saying? So I think Tyler Eifert would distract linebackers and things like that as well, so that Gio would be wide open. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to focus. It's hard to focus on everybody. If you got two threats, sure. If you got 3, 4, and 5 threats, it's hard to focus on everybody.
I mean, yeah, that's true, but you gotta, in that situation, you gotta determine who's the weaker link then.
Yeah, pick your poison.
Right, you gotta pick your poison.
Well, right now, they just pick A.J. Green and shut us down.
Right, and that's because, like, the way Boyd is playing like he hungry. And so is LaFell. So it's like, if they shut down A.J., let the other two eat.
Yeah, feed them.
Like, feed them. If they ain't getting loose, feed them. Throw it up there. LaFell is big as it is. Like, throw it up. He will come down with it 9 times out of 10, just like AJ. Throw it up. He will come down with it. If they keep doing holding them and pulling on his arm and stuff, if you keep throwing it up there, eventually the refs have no choice but to call that.
Or he'll make the grab. He'll pull Julio Jones and say, oh, I got this anyway.
Or do Dez Bryant, like you said earlier, the ultimate push-off.
Yeah, or the Antonio Brown is good for giving you the hook. Give you the Heisman and get the ball. So, but anyway, you know what? I mean, it just seems like it's maybe more coaching than the players themselves. I think the coaches have to do something. They have to. I don't know if they got to coach differently, but they got to get the team fired up.
They do. I mean? And before we end this, I honestly think if the Bengals don't do really well this season, like this is probably gonna be the end of Marvin Lewis. To be honest.
I think if they get blown out by the Browns, he might get fired next week.
Nah, I don't think he'll get fired next week, but I think the owner's just going to be like, you know what, it ain't working out. You got to go. We got to do something else.
Said, all right, guys. Hey, let us know what you think. What is wrong with our Bengals? How can we fix it? Leave comments. Let us know what's up. Peace.
Don't play with it.